Just imagine if you have to pay for something as a person, you will think twice, okay, is it really value for my money? That is a real validation for your idea. So I have some big machines to make, like example, CT scan, because most of people may be aware with CT scan machine is, or some maybe a stethoscope, a very simple machine to give, a very small size machine. I have a better idea of making a stethoscope. Every doctors will be helpful. Really good idea. So it is not like you need a resource for making that idea to work. Okay, they will people always ask me, "I don't have a resource. I have idea, but I don't have a resource. How I can make that idea?" It's making a very, very, very simple prototype of that. Very simple prototype. And prototype should be not something like a stethoscope should look like a stethoscope. Even a stethoscope looks such a big stethoscope. It's fine, but it should solve that problems of what you intended to solve. By just adding building blocks which are readily available. Just use your phone as a power bank or something which is already available. Just make that prototype. Make that prototype and give that prototype to a person who has that problem. Like a stethoscope can be given to a doctor who are using the regular stethoscope, and try to understand that feedbacks, and just understand like if you can tell them like, if I make a stethoscope with this feature which are there in this the huge prototype, will you be interested in using that? Okay, and if it's interesting, everyone is interested in using something, will you pay for that? Paying is something very important. And see, just imagine if you have to pay for something as a person, you will think twice, okay, is it really value for my money? Will what returns I will get? And that is the real validation for your idea. And so first is make a paper product is also work. See, something will look like this. I don't have resources. Make a use of some like cardboard paper, like some machines like this, and we'll have the random features. How it will look sitting on your desktop here. Okay. And if someone is ready to with your idea and an idea also, and then someone asks me like how much people I should go and talk with. See, talk with some number of people like 20, 25, 30 people. Okay. And if you're getting the repeated answers, then you should stop talking. That is only the stop point you should think of. If you're getting new feedbacks, you should keep on moving. It's not like 30 is my lucky number. So I'm telling people 30. It should be somewhere, if you're getting repeated answers, the same thing, then you should think like, either you should change your questions or you should change your people to whom you're talking about. Like change your people, like if you're talking with to a surgeon or person who's in demographic is 30, you should go and talk with 50. A demographic should change. A type of people should change. If you're talking about cardiologist, you should talk with orthopedics or something of others like that. Yeah. And if these two things works, if you have a working prototype, something to show, and if people are interested to even giving your next appointment also at an initial stage, say you're doing something amazing. I wanted to know the next thing when you develop something, and take their inputs, whatever they're telling, and try to go with them. If Drishti is telling, "Sai, this is amazing. I like to know." I have some comments for you. 1, 2, 3, and just go to Drishti again and tell Drishti. Last time when we met, you gave me these 3 comments. And incorporated your comments, your feedback, and this is the one. She will be happier. Oh, you took my inputs and making something. Wow, I am really amazed. And I will tell to my 3 people around me, hey, see this. This is my inputs which I help, and that is how you keep on building relationships, and that's how things move forward.
No, that's wonderful. And you also highlighted an important point of keeping on building your network. Many people tend to think that they stick to a number instead of, like, it is again about quality and quantity. You want to have your network such that you are able to interact with people from different domains. You never know, something that you heard somewhere, maybe even down the line, 2 years later on, you're dealing with something else, but a learning from somebody in a different field could be useful there. So building that relationship and network is equally crucial. There are a few questions that I'd like to ask you. So especially in the last year, so if there's some kind of a failure or a setback that you faced, and then how did you overcome it?
Okay. There are a number of things. Being a in the startup is like daily there will be failures and daily you should overcome something. So during pandemic, we suppose we thought of first of it will be for 21 days, 3 months or something. So we plan our parts, like we are looking at other geographies, like how they are coping with the pandemics even before pandemic hit us. So we were mentally ready for that. Like working for home was the things we experimented with our team, how we will work on. But the time frame, it was we got fail on that. We thought like it will be 3 months or somewhere around 100 days was our target, and so we plan our things around that. And but it not stop. It went on. Also, that was one of the failures what we came, and what the impact of that failure was the development as impacted on the stage, like the what is called the speed of development for us. That's the things which were going to get completed in 6 months. It took like 8 to 10 months to develop, and if it took more time, the resource what we under put in was a more for that, and it helped on the financial planning what we had. Like we always, like being a startup, we always plan with this set of funds in hand, we will reach a particular milestone, but we are not able to reach that milestone, setbacks. So from that what I understood, it's always keeping a miscellaneous flexibility in that. What it should be like, not point to like, if something is going to charge you 10 lakhs or some 10,000 today, keep a budget of 5,000 extra. So if anything goes wrong, that 5,000 can be helpful for you. So that was the planning, misplanning what we had with the pandemics. Yeah. And then we are developing something like a skin spray device. So just imagine, to keep it very lame and simple, if we want to we are developing an engine which runs on petrol. And just imagine there is no petrol left in this universe. How I will test my petrol engine.
Yeah.
And then everything is done for a petrol, and there's no petrol left in this universe to test it. Same thing happened with the skin spray. Like imagine something, if I made for it a human skin, and there is no human skin for testing it. Can I ask my team member just get your skin so that we can test our device? So it was that challenging to test it something. Then we started our journey, like taking a chicken shop and something, like taking which the skins which are easily available around us, like chicken skin is available from the meat shop. But our system was designed for a human skin and how it can be withstand for the chicken. Then when we design a system for chicken, it failed for the human because both parameters are different. So challenges were really high to get a human skin for testing, and no one is going to allow us to give a skin just for testing because it is very precious organ. And then finding a way where I can get the skin and this, and finally we are able to overcome that. Got a connect with a skin bank in Mumbai who help us with that. We complete the required procedure permissions which are required for doing that for research phase, and then we are able to get a skin, and now we are regular supply of skin whenever it is required. So challenges are there, but if you stick on that challenges for a long time, sure you will get answers for that. It's connecting with the right person in that field to ask that questions, and then how it gets solved. Because what we thought, oh, this is a challenge for us, so it can be challenges for other people also working on skin. So what that other person is doing first. Then when I talk with that other person, so same thing. No one in the universe is facing that challenge for the first time. Someone could have faced this challenge. Then reaching out to that person who has solved this, then he told me, oh, we took skin from the skin bank for research. I told, oh, that is the way. Then I should. Then I asked him, can you connect me with the person who has helped me on doing that? He told, yeah, I can help you to connect. Then he helped me to do it. Then we explain our challenges to them, explain what we are doing. Then he told, okay, we'll support you. Then he connect me with the third person, and that's how we are able to solve that challenge.
These are some real challenges that you were faced of, especially because of the pandemic. Like even in the non-pandemic world, these could have been challenges, but maybe not at such a big scale wherein everything is like shut down. Elective surgeries and things like that were avoided because everything had to be focused on treating COVID and patients with COVID. So, And then also you sharing how you overcome those failures, and again going back to seeing how people similar to you, because that is a great point, like we talked in the starting as well, that you're not the first person who must be facing a particular issue. Somebody must have faced a version of your issue, and those things can be incorporated to solving your problem that is there. So that is a great thing. So the other part of it, what has been like a biggest surprise in the last few months or year, and can you share that?
Okay, sis, me personally betting on myself is easy. Some other person bets on me is the surprising thing, right? And the person is unknown to me. That person or team is betting me on this. So getting a support through government grants or something, it's like people saying that the panel members, when we have to present this, they are senior person, like maybe a scientist, Indian scientist who have worked something phenomenally for India, and a person at his caliber betting on me, like a young fellow who's just out of college in some 2 5 years his work. So that was a surprise for me, and that was also a validations about the work what I am doing. So then if one person bets, other person bets on seeing that person as bet of high caliber. That has been my like a journey till now. It is just one person should bet on you of high caliber who has done that already, and the next person will see that that person has bet on you, and then just I never thought like I will be selected. Like during my college days, I never thought I will be selected by MIT. Okay, just to keep it that simple. Even because I know like to get in MIT, you need this qualified this exams what they are having IELTS or something, the other exams, and with a highest mark. And I know like I'm not in that range also, and my interest was also not there in that. But to be selected, and then in that case of selection, there are like maybe 100 seats, 200 seats, and then you are getting selected one of them. Okay, and then now the filters were hardly 10 to 11 seats. Okay, and getting in that 10 or 11 seats was more challenging. Just to keep it, if there are vacancies of 50, like 100 vacancy and comparing a vacancy of 10 at MIT or something, and getting selected, and that was a surprise for me. Someone is betting or has reputed as MIT for me, was a challenge for the work what we are doing. So, and there were surprises, no doubt. But even when I share this information with my professors in India, like we are selected for this, they are also surprised. Yeah, so keep on doing your good work. No doubt, like people will try to support you. So there are surprises in this journey many times.
Mhm. No, completely
Mhm.
agreed. MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, based in the US, is like the institution wherein like cutting edge technology is there, cutting edge research happens, and then getting selected for that indeed shows the impact you are creating using like transferring that theoretical knowledge into a real world application and actually making it work, and actually it's solving the problem it is supposed to solve. So that is wonderful. Kudos to you. And so I'd
Thanks.
like to know, how do you continue to learn in order to stay on the top of the things? Like, what is your maybe a weekly thing or a daily thing so that you are learning something new or building upon the skills that you have? Some tips you'd like to share with us?
Really a good question, because I think a person and anything is someone who is it's just a replication of its habits. So habits are important in this. And second thing is close systems like my wife, my family members, my team members, because who has seen me daily, what I'm doing, how I'm doing it. So getting a reflection from them, and they should be the someone who are your mirrors, and they should talk like say you're not up to the mark. Because my wife is my like whatever I do outside, it's fine, but she will always push me like you're not doing this still well, and there are many things about that, and it happens like it's not be a week like she will not tell me like I usually improve on something, and that is the best part of the journey. And same with my team members. And other things is also your nature, how you respond to that. because even yesterday I was talking with one of the investor, a friend of mine, and post that I asked my team members who was also in that meetings, both side of the coin, like
Mhm.
what you are working, and if you was the person, like what went wrong with me, where I should improve, uh, uh, how were my answers to that, how it could be better, and what we can do. So the feedback loop should be there with the team members, and you should be open to for that. And then coming at my personal, it's like a self reflections what I have weekly, uh, because normally I keep a monthly agenda, like top three things to be achieved for this month. It can be something depending on the stages of the work what I'm doing,
Mhm.
and then breaking that 2 weeks, and then Saturdays and weekends are something which I reflect, like what went well, what I planned but not accomplished in this. So learnings as such is at the current stage about improving myself as a person, because my current stage is like talking, explaining things, convincing people and this. And then what is the next stage of things? So the other part what I do is check out the technology part, what is happening in the other worlds. It is not reading a Google feed news. It's about the technology. It's about, in my field, about reading literature, reading science papers, what people are publishing in this field, so that I'm aware. If some ex-person is coming, an investor is coming and tell me,
Mhm.
I heard this is in the news, and what you are aware of. That is, shows a bad reflections about me,
Yeah.
the area. And the second thing about my competitors, what they are doing, what is their recent development, what they're publishing in
Mhm.
this. And then coming to the technology part is understanding what is happening in the technology. It is again reading literatures, understanding the conclusions, what they have made, what are the process they have followed, and how I can take out that process and implement me in our development. Process means technology development. There are different processes what they follow to make it the same. Like AI, ML also, there can be a different processes in that. And for me, as a person, is because I know, like if at all I think AL and ML is a good technology. I know, like I can't learn it today from
Mhm.
bottom up, and everything. For me, it's understanding and understanding what can be done with this technology, and this what our peoples are doing around us in different parts of it. Then discussing this with my team, because I feel my team is more expert in this than me. uh,
Mhm.
and my part is only showing them, like, oh, can we do that? Then they will think, Sai, we can do this. Sai, we can't do that, because that
Mhm.
is not our expertise. That is the hurdles what we
Mhm.
may face in that.
Mhm.
And then whenever there are hurdles in anything, then my again part is like, who will be the best person for me to overcome that hurdles.
Mhm.
So it is more on reflection. I can tell about learnings about, and making myself as a more efficient in the as a person what I'm working on. And
Mhm.
see, like a great person like APJ Abdul Kalam has told somewhere, and like I really follow. If you are climbing a mountain, you will not fall, will not slip from a mountain if a big stone slips. But if you're putting your leg on a small stones, and if it rolls, you you become unbalanced. So that
Mhm.
small stones are more important than a big stones. What I feel, and that is right. What APJ Abdul Kalam also sir told about, like small stones are important.
Mhm.
So I'm also always looking at for that small stones which I can figure it out at early till it becomes like something I slip from that stone because of climbing on the mountain from that stone. And these people around me helps me on that. And self reflections is the thing. And the second thing is, when you are at this stage, a focus is more important, because there are n number of tasks to be accomplished for us, in numbers. There is no limitations of that. But what is urgent and important, and focus on that, so that you can go. The growth journey doesn't uh, uh, get like stops because of this. And for that focus and this, as everyone tells, that nothing it's focusing on as a, there is no app as such which can, it can just can aid you for that, but it should come from inside, from as a person, or to keep a focus of things. So for that, nothing is better than your exercise and has what fits you, your body fit, so that you can concentrate on your work. Because there are n number of external things which comes across, but to be in focus, in finding your focus is important, and you can find your focus in different way. And I am not the expert about that find of focus, but you should be focused. That is the sure part, because I also tell my team, like, think what is your target and just focus on that, leave that other things on me, so that you should be focused on your targets. That is overall, like, to summarize the whole closed loop of people who can give a good critical feedback. The second, self reflections, and your initial to that, taking that critical feedback and improving on that. And the third thing and most important, the focus way of focusing on the urgent and important, which helps me to achieve or to accomplish small minor goals about that.
No, that
Yeah.
is wonderful. And throughout this podcast, it has been wonderful knowing about your journey. There have been so many great tips that you have shared, also talking about the startup world and the startup scene, especially in India, the places people can start off with, even if somebody is hesitant because of funding, or there are fellowships, like you have mentioned, great resources for those, and incubators and other government initiatives which can help you do that, international competitions and places, like a ton of things, a ton of information for anybody who wants to get started. So now anybody who's listening or watching this podcast, there's no reason that is holding you back to not do and solve that pressing problem that you see around yourself or that you face. Before we end the podcast today, Sai, a question on a lighter note. What is, you are doing so many things and it is a stressful scene, especially also because of the field that you are in, into the medical field and incorporating your product there. What is one thing that you do to de-stress? What is something that makes you happy? I know that your product and everything, that is the main happiness, but what is something that you do on a lighter note?
On the lighter notes, on the daily basis, what I sincerely follow is my Sundays.
Okay.
It may looks very simple for it's like what is that special in that Sunday? So Sunday is my time. Like, I will not even answer a question or something, like no mobile, like not anything of professional side. It's either with my family or friends. Strongly, like, some works to be done at my home. It may be that, or talking with my close network people. It will be something other than that, like a family things or friends things about the updates. So that helps me to recover from this part about this, and taking a regular break. Some things, sometimes, like, if I feel like I should take a break for something, I take a sincere break. It is not random breaks, like tomorrow I will not work. I will plan it way forward, like next 3 days I'm going for a leave or vacation, so that my team members is also informed about that. And nothing, it will not stop the progress of a company as a such, if I take a break for 3 days. And that also is important. Not like normally as a startup founders, I came across people like that, hum ruk gaye, then everything will stop. And it should not make a system like that, focus on one or two player in the company. It should be, the responsibility should be divided with everyone. If one is lagging, it should be like a cricket team. If one wicket fall down, the next comes, or the next batsman comes and recovers the scores. So it should be like that. So I take a regular breaks from the works, depending whenever I feel like having it. But it is always a plan 15-20 days in before, like, I am going to take a small break where I can travel or go for, because traveling and this is always with me, because before doing joining working as a full time, what has enjoyed me, what I always tell my near friends and team members, India is such a country, first of all, and really cheap, and facilities are there. Please travel and explore it. And it is not traveling just for the next Facebook feed to post. Travel as such,
Not for the gram.
not for that, and travel such a plan, like, take a help from the localites person, not checking something on internet or YouTube or someone has put it. Because the feedback, when I travel personally, I take the feedback from a localites in that place who has not known. Because I'll ask that local person, what is the most enjoyable part of your place? And that feedback is really different. And that was a real sense of travel, what I feel, and of traveling, especially like in India.
No, that's wonderful. Your way to unwind, to spend time with your family, loved ones, and to do any things that you have that are not directly related to your work. That also, I believe, helps with not reaching that burnout phase and recovering before reaching there. That's also a great tip for anybody listening.
And that's next thing I just forgot to tell you is to be in someone's shoes. What I like to be like, I will always imagine if I admire some person, how he will be living his life to be. Okay, I can't live his life, but how he may live his life. So reading books of that kind always help me to do that. Like that is a stress buster for me. I will just go in some other shoes, maybe that author who has written that books, and think from his point of view, living his life how it can be. So that is mimicking something, but it is more of the imagination to get out of my daily tasks. So that is also helped me. And then I discussed that with my wife. Like she's also a avid book reader, and we discussed tools how he could have faced that. What if I was in his place? What I could have done? What you could do? Then discussing about the things, that is also real helpful for relieving the stress from the daily life.
No, that is wonderful. So we have Sai, who is an avid book reader, who is a mechanical engineer turned into an industrial product designer, currently working in the medical space, developing a product which is being used to treat skin, which is helping in skin regeneration through a spray method. And so Sai, where can people follow you or maybe contact you?
Fine. I'm active as on social media on LinkedIn as such.
Okay.
So LinkedIn can be the best place to write a question because it's easy also. And I check once in a day for LinkedIn, so that is the fastest way what people can follow me.
Okay, sure.
And luckily, I have a unique name like Saiprasad Poyarekar. If you Google it, sure Google will show the first result of mine.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's a great advantage as well. On that note, I've known Sai since I first met you in 2017 during the Jagrati Yatra, and you're keeping in touch here and there, and reading about the product. It's just been wonderful. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on the podcast, share your experience, share such great resources with everybody, and also show people the human side of being such an accomplished person. So it was great having you.
Thank you for inviting me. It's always happy to share my learnings with people so that more people could learn something. And because I also learn from seniors who are in my field. So hope I can do like this is a platform for me to doing a bit for that, sharing my knowledge. Thanks for the platform, and thanks for the invitations.
Thank you so much.